Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Aishwarya Parab and today I'm back with yet another video for you guys. This is going to be the call and apply polyfill video, and I'm combining these two functions because these two functions are quite similar to each other, and I'm combining them because I know a lot of developers who get confused between call, apply and bind. So this is a reminder to you that call and apply are quite similar to each other, and bind is a function which is completely different from call and apply. Bind polyfill and the implementation of bind in JavaScript will be completed in the next video. So please stay tuned for the next video. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel and press on the bell icon so that you get notified every time I post a new video. Apart from that, if you haven't watched the other 3 polyfill videos that are already on the channel, you can go to the front end interview prep series and you can have a look at the map, filter and reduce polyfill. And this is just a request from my end because I know that when a new creator or when an experienced creator releases his or her course, there's a lot of chaos that happens on LinkedIn. There's a lot of halla that happens on LinkedIn saying that this creator is asking 5,000 rupees, asking 10,000 rupees for one course. Why so expensive? Can't you make it free? Can't we get discounts on Independence Day or on Republic Day? This is just a request from my end that as audiences, I think it will be better if we support creators who are doing quality work for free. I know that there are creators who are doing quality work by asking you to pay a price, and there's nothing wrong in it. I'm not against those creators who are asking you for money. But we need to also remember that there are tons of creators out there who are making really good quality content, but what they don't have are controversies. They don't have like a solid team behind them. That's why marketing is not that strong, and that's why maybe videos don't reach you. So, in case if you are one of the people to whom this video has reached, and if it was helpful, if and only if this video was helpful, make sure that you share this video to other people, share it to a larger audience so that even free content reaches as many people as paid content does, and so that we also talk about free content a little more than we already talk about paid content. So this is a little bit of gyan that I gave. I'm so sorry if it was useless or if it wasted your time. Let's get started with today's video. So, about the call polyfill, first we will understand how call polyfill works, and this is how every video is designed. Okay, first we understand how that function works in JavaScript, and then we will implement the polyfill, because once we know the ins and outs of that function, it will be easy for us to understand why this polyfill is written in this particular way. Okay, so first we will understand how call polyfill works in JavaScript, then we will implement the polyfill of call, then we will understand how apply works. Apply is very similar to call. We will have to just make some minor tweaks and we will be done. Okay, and then finally the apply polyfill. So let's get started quickly. To understand call, the first thing that we will do is we will just create an object first. Okay, let's name our object person, and let's give this person a first name of Aishwarya and a last name of Parab, which is my name. Okay, and now we will also create another function. Let's call this function print name. Okay, and this print name will return a string. Let's say hi. This is a template literal, so here you can use this dot first name, and again you can do the same thing, and here you will use this dot last name. And here you can just say how are you, or maybe you can take the question as the parameter, and you can embed the question here. Okay, simple, nothing complex till here, right? I've just written a function. I've used some of the properties from the person object. So now what I will do is I will call this function. Okay, I'm calling this function and I'm passing question because question is the parameter which the function is accepting. So the question that I'm passing will also be a string, which is how are you. It's a question, right? So for now I think this is enough, and let's run this particular function. Before running the function, guess what the output will be. Will I get hi Aishwarya Parab, how are you, or will I get something else? Guess it. Okay, before I run this. Now let me just quickly run this. Oh, I didn't console log, sorry. I didn't console log the value that is being returned. So now I will run this, and we realize that we are not really getting the value what we expected, which is hi Aishwarya Parab. That value is not being returned. Instead, we are getting undefined, undefined. And I know that many of you might have guessed this, that we will get undefined. But why are we getting this? This is the main question. Why are we getting undefined? It's basically because inside this function, we have a this keyword, right? This keyword is not pointing to the person object. This keyword is not pointing to the person object. Instead, right now, this keyword is pointing to the global object. Global object in terms of node environment, and window object in terms of browser. Okay, whenever your code is run in your browser, this will be pointing to the window object, and right now it is pointing to the global object. And in our global object, we don't really have person. Okay, person is not there. But if I print this here, you will realize that um, you don't have access to the person object. Okay, so I will quickly run this, and the the value of your global object, which in this case doesn't have access to the person object. Okay, so this is the global object. You can see set immediate, clear interval, set timeout, set interval, but there is no person object. And if there's no person object, if this is not pointing to the person object, or if it doesn't have access to the person object, first name and last name doesn't make sense. Okay, so this is what is happening. It's because of the this keyword. Okay, but what if I tell you that I can make this work? I can make this print name log hi Aishwarya Parab, how are you? But how? The question is, how can I make this print name function work? Right? For this, we have the call function in JavaScript. So we will just call the call function on top of our function. Okay, it might be confusing. This is a function, right? Print name is a function. We will call the call function on top of our function. So we will just say dot call, and to this call function we are going to give the object, we are going to give the context. Okay, so basically person object will be given as the first parameter of the call function. Okay, with this, now our print name function has access to the person object, or rather we can say that now our print name function has context. It knows which object it needs to reference, which is the person object. And of course, we are calling the print name function, we need to pass the parameters, right? In this case, the parameter is question, so we will just pass the parameters after we give the context. So after person, comma separated values, all the other comma separated values will be the parameters passed to the function. So in this case, the question is how are you, right? We'll first see if this works. I will run this, and here you can see it has worked. It now says hi Aishwarya Parab, how are you? Okay, which means I've made the same function work. I've not touched my person object, I've not rewritten my print name function. I've just changed the way I'm calling my print name function. I've only changed that, and with that, now it works properly. Now you might ask me a question as to, can I pass more parameters to the function? Of course. So in this case, I can pass age as well. I know in this sentence it doesn't make sense. Hi Aishwarya Parab, how are you? What's your age? But let's just put it because we are testing right now. So we will just say, what's your... No, it doesn't make sense. What's your age doesn't make sense. Should we say, are you age years old? Okay, I know that this sentence immediately after how are you doesn't make sense, but I want a question and I'm putting it across. Okay, we are just testing it for now. So are you dash years old? This is the question that we are asking. This age is the second parameter, so we can pass age as the second parameter. So we can pass 24 as the second parameter, or any value of age. Okay, so after you have given context to the call function, then we can pass all the parameters of the function. This is how the call function works. I will again run this and show you. Oh, I didn't save. How are you? Are you 24 years old? And it works perfectly fine. So this is the working of the call function in JavaScript, and now it will be very interesting to code the polyfill of call function. This is going to be something interesting. It's not as simple as map, reduce, and filter. So if you're interested, let's get started with the polyfill of call. So for the polyfill of call, if you have seen my earlier videos, you know how I approach polyfills. I ask a bunch of questions and then we give solutions to each of those questions. So the first question that we need to ask ourselves is, what is the polyfill about? What is the type of the polyfill, right? What is the type of the polyfill? Type as in, what is the polyfill exactly? Is it an array? Is it a promise? Is it a function? Is it an object? In this case, it's a function. It's a function. Call is a function. Now the next thing to ask yourself is, on which prototype is your polyfill being called? On which prototype is your polyfill being called? On which prototype? In this case, is it called on an array? No. Is it called on a promise? No. Is it called on a function? Yes. So function is the prototype wherein we have to make a change. We have to make a change in the function prototype. So I will just write it down, that function prototype needs to be changed. Okay. Now the next thing is, what is this polyfill returning? What is this polyfill returning? What exactly is this polyfill returning? If I closely see, after console logging all of this, what did I get? I actually got whatever my function returned, right? After console logging print name.call, I got what my function returned. Okay, so what is this polyfill returning? It's returning the result of the function. So whatever the function is returning, that value is being returned after calling call function. Okay, so it's returning the result of the function. Or you can say execution result of the function, however you interpret it. Basically, I think these questions are enough. With these we can get started. So firstly, we will change the function prototype. Okay, I will say my call, and since call is a function, I'm writing down a function. Okay, this is my main function. Okay, this will be my call function, and I know that I need to return the result. Okay, but where will my result be stored? As of now, let me just create a let result variable, and I will return this result. Okay, as of now I don't know what is happening to my result, but I'm just returning some result. The next question to ask yourself is, what are the parameters? Okay, what parameters are accepted by the polyfill? What are the parameters? The first parameter that we saw was an object, right? The first parameter that we saw was an object whose context we need to give to the function. So the first parameter is an object that we need to provide. The second parameter and the third parameter we don't know now. In this case there are two parameters, but previously we had only one parameter. In the future we can have 3, 4, 5, 6 parameters. So we don't know how many parameters this print name function will have, right? So in cases wherein there is ambiguity as in cases wherein we don't know how many parameters a function is accepting, we can use the rest parameter. Okay, this looks kind of like spread, but it is used as the last parameter of your function. Okay, so we can use the rest parameter and we can provide all our additional arguments. So with this I know that the function will be accepting an object. I'm just naming it obj, and it will be accepting arguments. Okay, now this is the interesting part. Here is where our logic starts. Okay, so if you closely see, this is the function that we had, no? Okay, now just pay attention. Okay, just pay attention for some time. This is the person object. Okay, now because my this keyword didn't have access to the person object, my function didn't work. Now what if the print name function was defined inside the person object? like this: print name, first name. Oh, what am I doing? No, print name and then this return. I think I didn't copy it properly. Sorry. Like this, okay? Print name function, inside I have return, okay? So what if it was written in this way? If it was written in this way, and if I had accessed it saying person dot print name, okay, saying person dot print name, what do you think would have happened? I think let's run this and check. Okay, I hope there are no other errors, and I will just console.log this entire thing. Okay, I will just comment everything for now, and I will only run this part, so that I want to show you if the print name function was inside the person object, then what would have happened. Okay, so I'm calling it again. Question is not defined. Oh, okay, question, and here I'll say how are you. Okay, now this should work. Okay, it worked. Okay, so what do you see? What is the change? Now print name function went inside the person object, right? Print name function is now a part of the person object. So when I say person dot print name, I'm getting everything correctly. But why is that? Why am I getting everything correctly? I have not changed my print name function. Where is this pointing to now? Where is this keyword pointing to? Right now, this keyword is pointing to the person object. This is how JavaScript works. In an object, if there is a function, and if that function is using the this keyword, then that this keyword points to the person object. Okay, on whichever object the function is being called, basically. So this print name function is called on the person object. That's why this keyword is pointing to the person object. That's why we have access to first name and last name. Okay, I hope this is understood. Now we will use this same concept. This same concept will be used to build the polyfill of call, and you will see how. Okay, so I'll remove this. So what are we going to do? First of all, I need to save this somewhere. This is the object, right? This is the object which I need. So let's call it context, and I'll tell you why I'm giving it a different name. Why not directly use obj? So let's call it context, which is equal to this object. And now what I will do is, to this context I will attach my function. Do I have access to my original function? Do I have access to print name inside the my call function? Yes. How? Using the this keyword. If you remember, in our previous lessons also we discussed that whenever no matter any parameter this is, whether this is a function, whether this is an object, whenever a function is called on this object or on this function, that time inside this function, if we are using this, then that this points to this property, right? That this points to either this object or this function or this array. Okay, similarly, when we call the call function on top of print name, then if we use this keyword inside the call function, then this keyword will point to print name. So when I say, do we have access to the original function? Yes. How do we have it? Using the this keyword. Okay, so what I did is context, which is my person object, I attached a new key, a new property into that person object. What is the name of that new property? Fn. What is the value of fn? The original function. So basically it will look like this. Fn is equal to print name. Okay, it will look like this inside the person object. And now what do I have to do? I have to run that function, right? So I will have to run context dot fn, and here I need to use all the parameters. Here I have all the parameters. If there are two, then two. If there are three parameters, then three parameters. I need to spread all those parameters here, and this is the result, right? Whatever this function will return is the result. So maybe I can use it here itself rather than using it on top. So I can just say let result is equal to context.fn. You execute your function and you finally return your result. So this should actually do the job. Okay, but let's test this. I will bring this here, okay, and change this to my call. It's working fine. Okay, so our call polyfill is working fine, but there's one change that I would like to suggest here. So if you see, context is what? It is the object, it is the person object in our example. To this person object we are adding something, we are adding a property, we are adding a key, right? But we are not deleting it, we are modifying some data which we shouldn't. Whether we are using an external library or we are using an external function polyfill, we shouldn't actually modify our existing data. Even when you solve DSA problems, if any input is given to you and some output is expected, you don't modify the input, right? In this case also we shouldn't modify the context or the person object. So before giving the result, we have to delete that particular property from context. We have to delete that particular property from context, and this function will still work fine. Okay, now if you are a fresher or if you are a beginner level engineer, this will work fine. But if you are a senior level engineer and you're preparing for your mid level front end interviews, then you will need to add some more validations. Okay, the first validation here that I can see is pretty simple. The my call function is being called on a function, right? So I should proceed if and only if my original function is a function. Otherwise I will get an error here. Otherwise here I will get an error, right? What if this original function, what if this is the original function, right? What if this is not a function? I shouldn't even proceed. Actually I shouldn't even proceed with the entire code if print name is not a function. So that validation I need to put in place. If type of obj is not equal to function, then I need to throw new type error. You can just say like that is not callable. You can just say, oh, not type of obj, I'm so sorry. If this is not equal to function, this is pointing to the original function, then you can just say this is not callable. Okay, very simple, this is not callable. Apart from this, there is another thing here, and that's why I said that I'm using context, I'm not directly using obj. So what if a person calls the call method or the call function, but that person doesn't pass any object? Maybe this is null. Then what if this is null? And if this is null, then I will get an error here, because I can't access anything of null, right? I can't access anything of null. So you need to make sure that if your object is null, if your object is null or undefined, then you point to something else, correct? Okay, in this case I had person, but if someone passes null, if someone passes undefined, then we have to handle it. So in this case you can just say, if it is object, then you keep it as object. Otherwise you keep it as global this, you point to the global this object. Okay, now this can be written in a shorthand property. You can just say like this. Okay, this means if object is there, the value should be object. Otherwise if object is not there, then context will be given global this. Okay, so this is one more fix that I can see. Apart from this, yeah, only one more change that I can suggest in this case. I have taken obj because I'm considering that the person is an object, right? But in many front end interview guides, or even many front end interview portals, you might have seen that we don't usually take something like obj, we take something like this arg. Okay, and why are we using this arg? Because this person, we know that it is an object, but actually in front end terms or in JavaScript terms, this is context. Okay, this is context. So basically we should be pointing to this particular context, we need this context, that's why we use this name, this arg. Okay, so rather than using obj, which is simpler to understand for us, I think it's better we use this arg. You have to just change it, nothing else. Okay, this arg. Yeah, that's it. I'll just run this for the last time. Yes, no errors. It's working fine. This is how call polyfill works. This is how call function works in JavaScript. And now let's quickly change this for apply. Okay, what I'll do is I'll create another file. Okay, and I'll just copy paste everything here, and I will change this code so that it works for apply. Okay, I don't have to do anything to the person object or to the print name function. I will come here. Okay, before doing anything to that part, I will change this to apply. Okay, the only change that I have to make for apply is that instead of passing these parameters to the function by like comma separated values, I have to pass these parameters inside an array. Okay, so I need an array here, and inside the array I need to pass these parameters. That's it, nothing else. Okay, so the second parameter of your apply function should be an array. Inside that array, we don't know how many parameters we have. Previously in call, we didn't know how many parameters we had altogether. In apply, we know that we have two parameters. The second parameter is an array, but we don't know how many parameters, how many elements that array will have. Okay, now based on this, we will change our polyfill, but before that we will run this code. We will just run this code and we will check if apply works properly. Okay, so I will just say node apply, and it works properly. Okay, it works properly. Now I will change this polyfill. The call polyfill I will change. So instead of call, I will use apply, and instead of spreading the args, now I don't need to spread the arguments, right? Now I just need to use the array. By default, let it be empty. This is an array now. This will remain the same. If this arg is not there, then global this. I will still attach the function to the object. I will still get the result. Here instead of spreading args, what will I do? I think I will spread args. Yeah, args is an object, right? So I will spread args here as well. I hope this is clear. I hope you know how spread operator is used. Args is an array, so I will still spread args. Okay, when I spread here, the function will get each parameter one by one, and then I'm returning the result. So I feel this will work for apply. I will run this and check. Yes, it is working for apply, but I can see one validation that I can put here. Now I don't have parameters. Now I have an array, right? So when I have an array, I can put a validation here to check whether this is an array or no. Because if this is not an array, I shouldn't proceed, right? So I will put a validation here to check if this is an array. So if it is not an array, then I will throw some error. So if not array dot is array, which is taking args. Okay, I will throw a new type error. Now there is a specific error that we get for apply, and the error is this. Okay, this is the error that we get. Now you will ask me, do I need to remember this error? No, you can just tell the interviewer that I'm putting this validation so that we can verify whether the second parameter of apply is definitely an array or no, and with this your interviewer will be happy. I think that's it. We are done with the apply and the call polyfill. and let me know how it was. Let me know if you have understood everything. If you have not understood anything, you can put in the comments. If you liked this video, please make sure that you drop a like so that other people understand that this is quality content which is going on YouTube for free. Share it with your friends who are preparing for their front end interviews or who are just learning JavaScript in depth. And yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you get more such videos in the future. I'll see you next time for our bind polyfill. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye.